Hey, everybody.
Hey everybody, welcome to TFT, Tarot for Today, Divine Dabblings with
Oberon.
and me, Banshee, and this is your
Your
Weird
Weird
Week.
Week.
Welcome to the crazy show.
Yes, we do Your Weird Week every Monday, and we try to use this as a collective card reading for maybe events that are broader than the personal. They might be about our nation, they might be about other nations, they might be about other kinds of things that are not necessarily you and I.
So, we are kind of at a conundrum about last week's cards. We usually recap last week's cards, and we will do so to some extent, but we really had a hard time fitting it to different scenarios.
Nothing totally fit.
There are a couple that I have in mind. Mm-hmm. At any rate, last week for card 1, which was the major focus theme or tone for the week, we had the Empress reversed. And again, that led us to wonder if Mother Nature was going to spring up and cause some calamities, some catastrophes. And, indeed, that towards the end of the week, there have been some, but I really haven't heard the damage reports from it yet. There was tornadoes in Nebraska. There was something like 30 tornadoes, in the Southwest. I don't know, it was Friday into Saturday, it seems like was familiar to me. And I really haven't, paid much attention to that news. I also know this weekend a typhoon was hitting in Myanmar and somewhere else, and that it was going to do considerable damage. It was really high winds, etc. And I think initial damage reports do say that, like, electrical infrastructure is out, and that there were some deaths, but I haven't heard major reports yet. Last time they had a cyclone this large in Myanmar, over 100,000 people died.
Wow.
So I'm just saying, I'm not sure if that's what we were pointing to, because we thought about this and we said card 2, which was what we will find out or see, the mysteries, was people coming together. People rallying around each other and coming together. What other perspectives needed to be considered with the tarot of oppositions? A lot of long-term planning or thought going into things going forward. How to tackle certain situations, maybe like climate change, etc. Card 4 was what is the overall impact, and that was the Star reversed. It was a lot more pessimism, a lot more depression and disillusionment. And card 5 was the High Priestess, and that was what could win the Weird Week. And what could win the Weird Week is if people truly tapped into the higher wisdom,
Embrace
their higher natures. Embrace
wisdom.
And so, Mr. O, shall we talk about some of the possibilities here?
Okay, let's do it.
One of the smaller ones, but I thought was really, really kind of cool, was when it was the Russians were having their, what would you call it, their military celebration, and the celebration of their military. And there was a Russian ambassador in Poland who was going to lay a wreath on the graves of dead soldiers there, from World War II. And apparently some artist or some people took it upon themselves to lay massive amounts of Ukrainian flags for all the dead Ukrainians through the war that's going on with Russia. And this ambassador had no choice but to walk through all of these Ukrainian flags to reach the Russian, monument. And it was an expression, with the many, many flags that were there, a lot of people had to come together to pull that off. So in a sense, this was a beautiful protest, peaceful protest that really had an impact. It certainly impacted me when I heard that. I thought, what a beautiful, what a cool expression of their discontent. And, Poland is not a fan of Russia these days, and is definitely in Ukraine's court. So that was one of the things we thought of. Then there's all these other things that just happened in our news. The George Santos charges were announced. E.G. Carroll's verdict was announced. Trump had a town hall meeting that really was off the rails. And the debt ceiling talks continue. And I don't know. I had a hard
Not
time.
exact fits there.
Well, I had a hard time at it grokking how it fit for the George Santos thing. Really, E.G. Carroll's maybe because
Parts of it.
there were a lot of people who were celebrating this with her, you know, and she feels that she really did a good thing for other rape victims who fear being out there and telling their stories. And so, in that level, I could see how a lot of this fits, and why the star is there as far as pessimism goes is because Trump went ahead at his town hall and literally slandered her the same way again. And the good news in all of this is, with the high priestess here, maybe with the higher wisdom, those lawyers are looking at resuing him. And so I feel there's justice there, you know, and hey, I almost feel like, you know, if you're gonna break the law or break your lawsuits like that with impunity, you were found guilty by a jury unanimously, you know what? You deserve to be sued again. I'm just saying. I don't care who you are. All right. So let's get into what I think might really be hit the fan here is the Trump town hall, you know, because lots of things here to unpack. Number one, there were a lot of people angry at CNN for even allowing him this platform. CNN argues he's a candidate, viable, he's running for president, he deserves a platform, people need to hear him speak so they can decide for themselves. Just throwing that out there, I have my own feelings on it, obviously. So the Ten of Cups, though, what does that mean? I have a feeling what this means is people are rallying to their centers from seeing this. I mean, Trump laid it out there. He put it all out there. He still believes the election lies. He still believes in the good people of January 6th, that it wasn't an insurrection, that it was a beautiful day, you know, and all of this stuff. So obviously, his base is happy. They are rallying around him. Other people are turning the other way. And I feel like you're getting these different tribes together, readying for what they have to do. And, you know, they are working harmoniously together, but separate once again.
Well, what I think is interesting that is, of course, the third card, the opposing perspectives. And of course, we're using the Tarot of Oppositions, Three of Wands. It's upright, but it sort of says maybe some of the aspects of its reverse side. So planning may work either way for either group of Trump, not so much Trump kind of folks go. Where they move from here, the idea of how he uses this or how anybody uses this information.
Wow. Glad I had you talk on that one. Sorry, I was going off here on a rails.
No, that's okay. I thought that was kind of pithy
and
of
the
you,
High
actually.
Priestess again, you know, tap your inner wisdom on this. If you don't believe the stuff that Trump was saying, you know, and you're say part of that party or you're independent, you know, are you still going to vote for him? I mean, tap your higher wisdom here. I think that this town hall also caused this star thing to happen. A lot of people are pessimistic. I am sure there are a lot of Republicans out there who want to win, whether it's with Trump or somebody else, but wish he would abandon some of these things that are turning off so many voters.
Right. The overall impact there is that people don't necessarily see a path to destiny.
CNN is depressed because there's a lot of people dogging them over this, and you know they're trying to justify it. And hey, they did get a pretty good rating for that day. A lot of people watched it, so you know it's all about ratings for these networks. That's the bottom line, and we need to keep some of that in mind when we watch these news programs, whether it's CNN, whether it's MSNBC, whatever the case may be. So there's that. And let's talk quickly and briefly about the debt ceiling talks. The Empress reversed, indicating there's blockages. You know, they're stuck. They're stalemate. But the Ten of Cups is here. And it does seem as though there was some coming together. There was more meetings. There was more dialogue, which is essential, right, to making progress.
There's some interesting aspects coming in from people who have constitutional knowledge that maybe is a little bit above the protocol orientations of Congress. And so that kind of adds more weight to the other side of the argument about the debt ceiling.
Exactly. And I like that. And of course, there's a lot of pessimism and worry as to are they really going to be able to do it? Are they really going to be able to come together to do it? And finally, the high priestess here is here, and it's again saying, tap into something that's higher than your own personal agendas. Look to what is good for all. Look for what is good for this country. I really don't feel that either side necessarily does the right things for the whole. But I also personally feel that regardless of what side you're on, I do not think the time that the debt ceiling is here is the time to talk about budget. I feel that that should be when we're passing a budget. And they can stop government, they can shut down government and cause pain there, and also cause stocks to crash, worldwide problems. But the debt ceiling, to me, I really feel that's a bad blow for us to show that we aren't willing to pay the bills we owe. That's just it for me, So I'm trying to keep a middle line on this.
I'm a Scorpio, so I can't go any further with this comment. I'm bound to be too sarcastic.
Okay, so we're going to see what's going on this week and see if the cards better match some of the stuff that may pop up in the news. Let's see what happens. And we start with my Twin Tarot, which is a double major arcana deck to get the major theme for
what is our focus?
the week ahead. The focus or theme. One more shuffle. Come on. All right. Wow, isn't that bright and cheery? It's the sun upright. The sun is definitely upright there, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. No purple border on the bottom. And happy children. Sun is shining. Everything looks great. So the major focus for the week ahead is joy, happiness, optimism returning. Will something happen that will really...
I'm getting a flash that says that the very recent coronation may say that there may be a big announcement coming from the monarchy.
Really?
I just have this feeling.
Okay, I won't rule that out. There is kind of a...
Or a pronouncement of some importance saying that the state of the world, the state of the Commonwealth is good.
Well,
I don't know if I believe it.
I have a lot of problems
but I think
right
there's
now.
a statement like this coming, a pronouncement of something saying everything's good.
All right, Mr. O went on a limb here. I'm not going to go anywhere with it right now because things have not been that optimistic. But you know what? Mercury is going direct again. Maybe some positive things will start happening. Jupiter's entering Taurus this week, so later in the week, so we'll see.
Maybe a great discovery, a scientific discovery, fusion power.
Aliens! No.
Fusion power, the sun.
Aliens will come and rescue us. All right, well, that's a good start.
Here I am. Right here. Right here. I'm signaling.
Okay. Oh, the aliens.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, I didn't know what he was doing, but that happens a lot. Beam me up. There, if you had said that, I would have known.
So card 2 is what will we see or find out? What are the mysteries? And for that, I use the Secrets Tarot.
Well, I'm elated if this is really good news, Who knows?
Like,
maybe there'll be some kind of court decision or something that happens that kind of puts everybody in a more positive state of mind. Some good economic news. Go for it. Oh, it's reversed.
But it's a good reverse card.
It's a good reversed card.
I think we've had it here recently, too.
What will we find out or see? The mysteries.
4 of Wands.
Well,
we had that recently, maybe 2 weeks ago.
It's reversed. Well, maybe in a different position.
No, because this is always the one for Secrets Tarot.
Oh, that's right. So you were sure we had it with this deck, I guess you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
2 weeks
I'll buy
ago,
it.
3 maybe.
I'll buy it.
So we're coming back around to that we might find out that maybe, the foundations are okay. They're not the greatest, but they're
Work
gonna
needs to be done.
they're gonna hold up a bit.
You know what? Maybe that means some positive thing is being generated because work is, people are working together on something. That almost sounds like the debt ceiling. And I do know more meetings are planned, so it's hard to say. But also, I wonder if this just means what we're going to find out is this is just going to be a very low-key week. Maybe not much is going to happen this week, and we're going to feel pretty darn good about that because the news cycles lately have been pretty crazy.
Well, one of the things we can infer about Four of Wands reversed or upright is that it tends to be about foundation issues, so this is saying maybe, things are secure,
Things are stable for this week. That's what we might find out and talk about next week. It may be a big nothing burger this week. Maybe no major storms, maybe no major issues. We'll just have to see how things roll. The other thing about the Four of Wands is that when it's reversed, it often says, enjoy the simple pleasures in life. Enjoy life, and do small things, small little steps, attend to small details. So that's what I'm thinking. Maybe some little meetings or things will start to pay off. But we'll see.
So now we move on to card 3, and this is a shared deck and a shared idea. So we both will shuffle this particular deck, the Tarot of Oppositions, and we seek to find out what other perspectives may need to be considered.
Sunny is off to the side here, as you can see.
Rub his fur for good luck.
Well, I've got to shuffle. I just want you to stay there so I can shuffle. That's
There you go.
Thank you. Let me shuffle. I'll be back. Give me a minute. I'll put a little Sunny mojo into this. Right, Sunny? Yeah. Here, play with Rammy. Play with Rammy. No, lay there. I gotta shuffle.
What would we do without him?
Shuffle better?
Better.
No, he is the sunshine of our lives.
He is our faithful, loyal seer cat.
One more shuffle.
Alrighty.
All right. Oh boy, let's see what other perspectives need to be considered.
And it is the reversed 8 of Pentacles, because the bright ones are at the bottom there, so it's reversed. So I think the idea here is that maybe there are good works that can help, but maybe there are some works that we don't necessarily think are good or are adequate, but maybe they can help too. Maybe it's saying every little bit can help. Maybe some people are going to be working it a little bit through a dark side, and some people are going to be working it a little bit more on the up and up. It may be saying that some things will pass that maybe have a veneer of about them, and other things may pass that feel like they passed the sniff test.
Well, I don't mean to be Debbie Downer here, but it is upright, and I know
It's
we
reversed.
The reversal is up top. That's kind of what I meant to say.
Sorry.
And even though we look at both sides, I give a little bit more weight to that. And so I kind of feel here when I look at this card, I'm thinking, good people are trying to get things done. They're trying to do the right thing. They're trying to accomplish a lot and get things done. But there's a lot of people, for whatever reasons, either they're not doing their homework, they don't have the skills or the knowledge, or they're operating to cause
The dark side, as I mentioned.
Delay.
Do you feel this could be about the debt thing?
I think it could be, but there might be other aspects
Pentacles.
here. Yes, I think it could be. But it looks as though that people are trying to stop people from working together productively to get a job done.
Yeah.
You know, they may have their reasons for this.
And that sounds like some sense of the factionism in our politics in general.
But the good news is, since this is a card we look at both sides, that other people are really trying their darndest to make sure the work gets done, you know, one way or another.
So we appreciate that and sure hope it works out.
Oh boy. So now, what is the overall impact of Healing Light Tarot?
Card 4.
You know, I'm wondering if this is about immigration too. We didn't tackle immigration.
You know, it is
that was another big
legal
story
issue that's
this
going
week.
through a lot of, you know, quarterbacking.
And, you know, I don't know if our card's related to that, but if anybody sees a correlation there, maybe there could be one for that too.
Yeah, the invitation is open. If anything we're discussing, we want to see what you feel about it. We want to see if you agree or disagree.
Seasoned tarot
or see
readers
something
out
different.
there.
Because we know a lot of you out there do your own tarot, and some of you actually do look at things at a broader perspective too, like we do.
So we know there's a lot of work yet to be done on immigration here. And maybe the positive, if this is about that for this week too, and maybe the positive is not as many people crossed after Title 42 expired than they thought. A lot of them got through before Title 42 was passed, you know, went into effect. And, you know, the work that needs to be done and both sides muddling through, which is what they do.
So now, what is that overall impact?
What indeed? Let's see what we've got.
Bam.
It's the sun reversed.
Holy cow. This only happens here, but this is a perfect example of why we do a layering with different decks, because we feel sometimes if the same card shows up, it may add some extra emphasis or it may point towards something. Maybe not so much in this case because the sun is more of an abstract kind of principle, but let's go for it.
Well, I kind of feel, you know, I'm of the impression that the sun reverse can be negative. It could mean that things get delayed. Like maybe it's possible, since this card is, you know, showing the negative upright, that delays will happen, you know, because some people are either trying to block progress.
It's government.
It's government, bureaucracy, red tape, etc. Work still needs to be done. And there's some pessimism and doubt here. On the other hand, I just want to add before I toss it over your way, is that I feel here that, okay, the major focus or theme is how to bring optimism back, how to restore confidence in things, how to move ahead in a positive direction. And then here, the overall impact, we don't quite get there. And I feel here that what it's basically saying is this is a little bit more muted. Maybe it won't be the end of the world, you know, what happens this week, because even with the Four of Wands here, but it's definitely not going to, the overall impact is not going to be as happy as we thought.
Well, I feel like a lot of this does dovetail more towards the American issues this time around for sure.
Well, you did say Britain.
Especially, well, I did say that in the beginning, but I'm about to do a major sweep here because amongst the sun's other meanings, it could also talk about people coming together in marriage or certainly good acts. And so if the sun's reversed, maybe this is saying the people really do divide, not once and for all, but at least for this time span, to say we really see who the light siders are and who the dark siders are. I'm using that generally, not in the New Age sense, but the idea of maybe we start to understand where there is opposition, where things are splitting. And the wands, the metaphor for the house, could be our people's house, the House of Congress.
Well, and also there's so many other things going on in the U.S. right now. Talk about issues, We have the Disney lawsuit. And what's going on in Florida keeps taking more and more rights away from Disney every day, it seems like. And also, we have a lot of the white nationalists going on. I just read recently that there was a protest in the Capitol by white nationalists this last Saturday, unbeknownst to me. I must have missed that in the news. And also, this resurgence of religious nationalism, Christian nationalism. I mean, there is something happening in Florida. They're reviving a nationwide campaign to make America a total Christian nation. And in a way, with the 2 sun cards here like that, and this 4 river, I don't know why, I kind of almost wonder if some of that isn't happening. Texas right now is trying to make sure that the 10 Commandments are not just in every school, which they already have, but in every single school classroom, that they're trying to pass a bill that will make prayer every day in schools, prayer time, and schools can choose in place of licensed master degree school counselors for children to just put in unregulated, there's a few regulations, but minor, no college required, chaplains instead. Religious Christian chaplains.
In public school that public taxes pay for, not whom everyone is Christian or supports Christianity. There are a lot of Jewish people, a lot of Muslim people, a lot of people from other faiths, a lot of people who don't want taxes to support any one religion.
So
but I want to take a moment though
to
express the idea that the sun reversed could also apply to people on the other side of things and feeling that they feel it's their perspective that things are falling apart.
So, nice point. So, on one hand, is this saying maybe there's a lot of people who are going to be happy about something and others who are not? The overall impact is that some people are going to feel very bitter about what happens this week.
Well, time to finish this puppy.
Oh my gosh, what could win the weird week? Here we go.
What could win
or lose it?
With the Global Fusion Intuitive Tarot by Wayne Rodney. I have to say his name every week because I think he's a brilliant artist. He immigrated from Jamaica and made his living in New York, I believe, and gave us this beautiful deck. I hope this is not the last we've seen of him. It's a very stunning deck. All right. Give us our intuition. What could win the week? It is
beautiful. I'm glad I bought it for you.
Why, thank you. It's definitely diverse, multicultural, etc. So I love it. And what could win the weird week? It's the 6 of Wands reversed.
Oh, goodness. Well, when I first saw that flag, I thought it was death. I'm like, no, it's not going to be death reversed.
The 6 of Wands reversed, maybe in this context, talks about people who don't need to have special acclaim. Maybe what wins the week, what could win the week, is people who find a little bit of humility and don't feel they need to be recognized as saviors. They just want to do that work.
Well, it's funny, as divided as we could be with these 2 sun cards, I almost feel the same way when I look at this card. It could win the weird week or it could lose the weird week.
Because there's another perspective.
It could win the weird week by what he just said. I totally agree with that people will do the right thing because it's the right thing to do. They're not trying to please people. They're trying to do the right thing. That would be wonderful.
But some people,
might want to grandstand, might want to feel they're not getting enough attention, that they're always being persecuted, that they're...
Who does that sound like?
Well, Christianity, for one, which isn't true, and...
It sounds like a person, too.
Well, it does sound like a person, too. Victim, I'm a victim, it's a witch hunt, Yeah, it does sound like a person or two.
Hey, I'll talk to you about witch hunts.
Trump and George Santos both talked about witch hunts this last week. Well, anyway. I digress. What I want to say though is there could be somebody who is a grandstander who really mucks up the works, you know? So I almost see this as a toss up. It all
Yeah.
depends what happens here, I think. What happens with that Eight of Pentacles? Let's go through it again and see if we
Sure.
can tie this up together. So the major focus theme or tone for this week, Mr. O?
It's the sun, and it sort of indicates that maybe there is something fresh dawning over us. Maybe there is some good news. Maybe there is some post-coronation brilliance shining forth. You know, Britain or other countries maybe are saying, we've got a plan and we think it's a good plan. It maybe is. Who knows?
Maybe there's something that will at least bring some optimism back, whether it's positive economic news, maybe the debt ceiling coming together, whatever the case may be, something brings some optimism back into the equation. And you know, and also maybe enlightenment, maybe whatever happens this week will really open people's eyes in a positive way to certain things, and they'll know what they have to do. And
We got work to do.
what we will find out is we've still got some work to do. You know, it's not a bad card either way. I would just say here that people need to get to work. People need to maybe it also means that whatever happens this week, even if it is kind of, you know, up and down or not that great, it won't be earth shattering. In other words, it'll kind of be a low key week overall.
In another context, the Four of Wands could be about parties and celebrations, but I think for this context, it's saying we agree, we like our house, but we need to, you know, shore it up a little bit more, make it a little bit better.
Right, the foundation of something needs to be firmed up. Card 3. What other perspectives need to be considered? Well, you know, there are people who want to do the right thing, want to do a good job, get the job done. And then there are others who throw a wrench in the spokes and, you know, block progress. And so right now it looks like those people or situations have the upper hand over those who are trying to do the hard work. Leading to what is the overall impact? More doom and gloom. I mean,
a stunning reversal by having the reverse sun after having the upright sun.
Yeah. And so I feel here that, you know, the overall impact is, it could be that there's an impasse, which means more delays. So that's why I lean towards the debt ceiling, but you never know. I keep hope alive that maybe something good will happen here, but it remains to be seen. And finally, what could win the weird week or lose it, in my opinion, both, is that, you know, people might be willing to do things for the good of all without getting the acclaim, without getting the applause. They're not in it to impress people, to get bribes or money from people. They're in it so that people will appreciate and value, or that they know inside of themselves, they don't need that. They know inside of themselves they are doing the right thing.
It's like Mr. Rogers said in one of his parables that hhis mother always told him as a child to look for the helpers, that when something bad happens, look for the helpers, they will help. And they don't do it because they want to be noticed. And of course, the opposite side of what she's talking about is the people who won't do anything unless they feel they get proper acclaim or recognition, money, or whatever else they think they deserve.
You know, they're more interested in, you know, either garnering votes, getting payments from rich benefactors, you know, donors, whatever. And so they're playing to what pays off for them as opposed to doing the right thing. So it's a two-sided coin, I always feel, with the Six of Wands reversed. And a lot of times I base it on what I see here, you know, with the remainder of the cards. And I don't know. I just think this is a real sticking point for me here. And, of course, the sun reversed.
So that's it then. And we would be more than thrilled to hear any of your comments, your own ideas. Tell us where you think we're off, or where we're really great.
And we're also just glad if you come and watch the show.
Of course.
We appreciate you all, and just want to say thank you. Thank you for stopping in today. Maybe at the end of the show, it might be a good idea to announce again, we will not be doing any live shows this Saturday and Sunday, upcoming Saturday and Sunday, because we'll be at a live event doing readings there. So, but come and get a reading from us Thursday night. We'll be there Thursday night as we normally are this week.
So that's it for another round of your Weird
Week. Take care.
We will see you next time.
We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye-bye.